A list of sensitive subject matter has been included in the episode description. Precisely 9,000 fathoms beneath the sea, a dragon guards a mountain of gold. Or, at least it was a mountain of gold at one point long ago. In fact, if you look back far enough, nearly 1,000 years, the dragon's hoard was a tract of gold, strewn throughout every crevice of the devil's caldera. What had once covered acres shrank to piles at the hands of men. For centuries they came in waves, plundering every blessed sovereign they could find. At first, the dragon fought back, but more came in ever greater numbers. Stolen gold funding stronger shields, stiffer potions, and even guns. So, slowly, the dragon slipped beneath the mountains, cleaving to its dwindling riches and the waning hope that men might not follow. For a scant few decades, it was quiet. Until now.
Ramshackle, will you please explain to me why we are standing muzzle to muzzle with a snarling, buck-tusked dragon?
The woman who is speaking is a head and a half taller than the rest of her party. She's also an entire ribcage wider, several scars meaner, and possessed of a stoic calm in the face of certain death, suggesting that she is the party's muscle. The dragon does not give pause for an answer. Briny steam boils the woman's skin in a white-hot pain that quickly gives way to the numb of shock as she is dragged by her arm up into the dark eaves of the cavern. The shock is a blessing she is counting on, and she falls back on instinct, wrapping her legs around the creature's muzzle and landing 3 sharp kicks into its slit-pupiled eye.
Valnise, go! Ugh, run!
The woman's command leaves no room for argument. Her party flees. We follow them through a narrow corridor retraced in the hope that the dragon may not follow.
Ramshackle, didn't you pretty explicitly say that this cave would be abandoned?
The brains of the party is a mild-looking, knobbly person whose every joint seems to be a new and innovative type of knee. Like their compatriots, they are breathless in their escape. But none are more so than the man they are addressing, Bonathan Ramshackle, the party's face. Heavy-set and tumbling into his mid-50s, Ramshackle wheezes his reply. Now, Coloursby, does this really seem the time for asking questions and point blame? I think it might be wise for us to conserve our precious breath for the express and critical purpose of our timeliest. His words are toppled by the crashing of stone. Whatever Valnise's fate, the dragon has decided to turn its attention to pursuit.
Ain't no amount of yammering gonna save our hides. Y'all need to move.
The party's threat wedges his halfling body to the front of the pack, nearly losing his wide-brimmed ranchera in the scramble. His stout elbow jabs into the healer, who stumbles into a stall. Then, from beneath his poncho, the healer produces a bronze armilla, to which he offers a muttered prayer. We see it rise from his hands, concentric rings spinning in an arcane buzz. He is casting Find the Path.
Stop. This way. If we double back straight past the Zorn, it might forestall the beast. There's a vent we can climb. Let's go. Coloursby, what are you waiting for?
I can send an illusion down the other tunnel. I suspect we could use every second we can get.
Their spindling fingers wind the gear of a small insectoid contraption before whipping it down an ink-black tunnel. It clanks and thumps off the stone, whirs to life, and conjures a hollow picture of the party running headlong into the abyss. Coloursby falls in line. Ramshackle takes up the rear. The din of feather, fang, and claw presses them onward, up the vent, and into a hollow where they catch a much-needed breath.
Again, Ramshackle, did that map of yours just not mention the living, 1,000-year-old dragon?
Ramshackle, slumped against a stalagmite, puts a hand on his heaving chest and moves to respond. He is interrupted.
Do you honestly believe he would have let us down here if he had known about the beast?
I have no idea what he knew or didn't know. That's why I'm asking.
And what good would it have done anyone, him or us, to march us to death at 9,000 fathoms?
All right, y'all, that's enough. It's like the boss said. Now's the time for getting our asses out of here, not for kicking each other's. By my count, there are 3 paths out of this here holler. Rowe, fire up that trinket of yours and figure out which should get us back past Zone the fastest. Coloursby, rig up a few explosives on all 3. See if we can't give the old goat a liquor to a fire. I'll work the shaft we just clambered out of and see if we can't spring a bear trap on the varmint. Boss, that wash for you?
Ramshackle nods. The plan is a good one, but will be short-lived. To the party's misfortune, the dragon is clever. It is needed to be. For the 1,000 years it has been outwitting the devils at its doorstep. The illusion does not set it back 1 pace. Soon it is upon them. Woodfoot, the halfling threat, makes a tasty morsel. Coloursby, all knees, trips before they can make it down the safer path. The dragon tears them to pieces. Only Ramshackle and his healer Rowe make it to the Zorn. On their way down, they were careful to avoid it with the help of the map. Toss out your gemstones and turn left at the carcass pile. Follow the river of slurry and, for the sake of your immortal legend, stay quiet. But to forestall the dragon, they must find the Zorn. And they do not find it in a bargaining mood. Rowe falls first. A sand pit of teeth opens beneath his foot and claims the leg above the knee. Blood darkens the red earth, and Rowe blacks out. When he awakens, his leg is tourniqueted and he is resting by a fire. Ramshackle pokes at a log, his vacant stare hidden by his round black glasses.
You got me out.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew about the dragon. The whole time. Did you not?
I was aware that the beast likely lived. Yes.
You did not think to warn us of it?
Level with yourself, son. Would you have delved quite so deep if you had known? With Woodfoot? With Valnise?
I suspect not. Which begs the question, why did you?
The beast is the prize. All these trifling adventurers seeking gold, worse yet, monster bits, have lost sight of the true purpose of our noble craft. To reach into the unknown and through courage and perseverance to conquer. Now, as always, we must slay the dragon. The beast is the prize. A heavy silence follows before we see Rowe struggle to his one good foot. He says a prayer, low and clear, to a small hunk of stone that grows into a workable cane. Oh, don't be an ass, Johnnie. You need to rest. We both need to replenish our magic before either can properly heal that wound. To try to hobble out now would be suicide.
You will recruit others, other parties, more bodies. I have been your friend since my youth, Bonathan. I know this will not dissuade you. Better I die and attempt to warn all of Basin City that the dragon yet lives than to survive in the silence of your debt.
He begins to limp across the cavern floor, making for some dark pass in the offing. Ramshackle draws a pistol from his hip and levels it at his old friend. It hangs there, dripping firelight, for as long as it takes the dogged explorer to make an impossible decision. Welcome to another episode of Unbalanced Encounters, the only show that dares to ask, what if Delicious in Dungeon was yeehaw as hell? I'm your host, Patrick Perini. And I am joined in the studio today for the first episode of the Misfortunate 4 by the illustrious Emily Greymoore. Say hi, Emily.
Hello.
Well, that was certainly something. Craig Pate, how you doing? We're just gonna, each one of these needs to be a different animal noise, I guess, or something is what we're doing. Cinnamon Block Sally, hello.
Moo!
And Caustic Phoenix. That was really, honestly, I feel like we found it. I feel like we found it in the end there.
Thank
That was
you.
really good. Great.
I guess
cat
mine
noise.
was a goat scream. I have no idea.
This is for Rob. Shout out to Rob.
Yay,
If you
Rob.
didn't catch the session
For Rob.
0,
High five.
maybe you should go over to our website and support the show, financially. And you'll get access
my.
to all our sessions.
Scandalous.
Just send us gold, please.
Hey, it's the money arc. I gotta ask for money. What do you want from me?
Yeah, fair,
okay.
fair. We ain't beating around the bush this time.
Welcome, my friends, to Basin City, that wild and wondrous city in the hill. And by hill, I do mean the cliffs of the Devil's Caldera. A drop of land in a desert of water. And in the hollow of that island are sunk the great pillars of our prosperous community. Courage, luck, and a truly nauseating amount of grit. Upon those soggy oaks, our forebears built and built and built and built. They built shacks and shanties and cabins and mansions, all piled atop one another. Turns out, when you build in a bowl, there's nowhere else to go but up. And gold and legend are relentless drivers, ever reaching for superlatives. For 1,000 years they cried, stronger, taller, more. Until at last our fair city grew to be a mile tall and looked down on the peaks that once held it in shadow. And Basin City? Hell, she wants that for you. Right off the Dragonheart train, she calls to you. From the highest rafters of the heavens, she begs for your industry. Pour out all you are, and you too can rise from the mud to tower over giants. Risk it all, and you too can be bathed in gold. For 1,000 years, millions have heeded that call, and it is true. There are those that have prospered just as the city promised. In time, we will get to them. Few and far between as they are. But our story begins in the mud, with a stubborn moose and an even more stubborn stable hand who has never once seen the golden peaks of the city she serves. Caustic, would you please introduce us to your character?
Yes. She's barely reaching over 5'5", long, black, thick braided hair, a faded blue tunic, and she just has a look of tiredness worn on her face. She may be young, but she looks like she's lived years. Her shoulders slump, the knees ache, and she is just fighting with this moose. Come on! As she looks over at this giant beast that just encapsulates her in its shadow.
I don't know if any of y'all have ever come face to face with a moose in real life. They're fucking big, right? They're massive. However big you think they are, they're like 25% bigger than that. This moose is a giant's moose. So it's about 25% bigger than that. This thing has nostrils the size of tea saucers. Its gnarled antlers spread wide, threaten to knock you upside the head as it blows back and forth. Dripping from its antlers and its fur and its big muzzle are mats of lichen. These are the beasts that Cal deals with every day. And this one in particular, fucking Kevin, is not having it.
He has attitude every day. Every day.
It is the evening, and you want to go fucking home, right? Like, you are done. It's Friday night. It is the one night of the week that you realistically get to go home. It's basically the only time of the week that you get to see your parents. And Kevin will not get into his stall, and he is just pulling back. And would you please go ahead and roll me an animal handling check?
A 15.
That's pretty
Okay,
good.
all right,
That's pretty
okay.
good.
15 is not bad. I'm gonna roll a little contested athletics for Kevin.
For Kevin.
Here. Yeah, that is a 15.
Come on, Kevin.
And
It's been a long
incredibly,
day.
an absolute fucking stalemate. Just splayed hooves digging into the mud.
No, I can be just as stubborn as you.
And actually, from up in the catwalk, there's a catwalk that sort of lines the interior of this space because the top of this building actually is conjoined to the next tier above this barn. Basin City is built of these log cabin layers that just climb higher and higher. And from up on this little catwalk, you see Auntie Sybil. She definitely doesn't own the stables because, let's face it, ownership is not super common in Basin City. But she does run High Tree Stables. These are effectively her stables. She's this hardy and hard-living woman with ochre skin and a big smile. And she leans over the railing and yells down and says, "Is that your center of gravity, kid? You know what you're doing? Come on!"
Ugh. And Cal, instead of just trying to use her words anymore, she just takes her forehead and pushes it right to the chest of Kevin. Like, she's standing tall, right? And that helps her, like, actually hit this beast just right underneath the nape of its neck. Come on, Kevin! And she pushes, trying to find the center, like, reaching under her with her hands, like, thinking as if it's a button, right? Just trying to grapple this giant moose.
Incredible.
Just get in!
Go ahead and give me another animal handling check, this time with advantage.
It's a 10.
Kevin straight up lets you sort of push him. He kind of realizes as you're deadlocked in this moment that you are kind of unintentionally pushing him away from the stall that you're trying to get him into. And he just kind of lets you slide him back in the mud. And then he sort of buckles one of his legs. He's sort of going down into that almost prone horse position. And you just face plant into the mud behind him. The mud is gross at the best of times, right? It is this silty, disgusting mix of dry-ass topsoil and the runoff of the city that lives above you. But you're also in a moose barn, and that's
Manure.
just not a good situation. Auntie Sybil just shakes her head. All right, okay, all right.
What?
That is enough. You done well.
I can get him in. Just give me a second. And she, sits on her knees and with both hands takes him and scrapes this mud off her face. It kind of looks like war, right? Paint that she's got. There's just these streaks where her fingers pull the mud off of it. It's fine. I've got it. And she just stands. You are going to get into that wonderful stable so I can call it a night and I can go to sleep. And tomorrow I'll give you something nice to eat. Will that be good enough for you? As she's just starting to break a little bit. And as she moves, she's animated. Like her braids are moving with them. They almost dance with all of her body movement, flicking some of this mud off itself. And she is just stuck here, right? Like she's not moving anywhere, partially because of the mud, but also just her own stubbornness. She is not giving up on Kevin. She doesn't want to lose to Kevin. Nobody wants to lose to Kevin.
Your braids and hair and even the clothes on your back start to sort of rise in that very Ghibli way, that sort of moment of rising tension. And we, the audience, see something that I don't think Cal is particularly aware of. We see that one of her ankles kind of shifts as she sets herself in this more aggressive stance. And little patches of moss kind of grow out underneath her feet. And your eyes tinge slightly. What color are Cal's eyes normally?
They're actually just like a light chestnut brown.
They get these tiny but almost fluorescent streaks of green for just a moment. And you see Kevin fully relax, and he tousles his head in that sort of very horse-like way, rises to his feet, and pushes his way into the stall.
There's like a beat. Cal is also equally half surprised that this worked and also immediate to take on the moment of pride as she looks back up at Auntie. See?
All right, okay, all right. You've done good, kid. Listen, I know you got a natural talent for this stuff. But you're stubborn as all hell. And it worked this time, but sometimes you gotta know when to walk away. You know what I'm saying?
You don't ever walk away. And she actually turns her back and starts shutting the gate of the stable door for Kevin.
When you're done locking up, come on up here. I gotta get you paid for the week. Auntie Sybil reaches to a little pouch on her belt, pulls it out, and says, it's unfortunately not as much as I was expecting this week. We got a couple of the big wigs that are a little delayed on their payments. But you hang tight. I'll make sure I'll make you whole in the next week or so. Okay, doll?
How come it's always the ones who have coin that never give it up?
Oh, because profit is theft. I don't know what to tell you. It's not complicated. They take it from us all the damn time. We do all the damn work in these stables, and they pay us enough to survive, I guess.
Be nice if they just paid us on time.
The bare minimum is considered an indignation for those on high.
Fine, I'll take what I can. How much? Oh, as she kind of feels the bag.
You have a little pouch full of 5 gold.
Oh, good. It's enough that I can count.
On one hand.
A little less this weekend, but it'll do. Thank you, Auntie.
You do good work. I wish I could give you the moon, but it ain't mine to give.
Those adventurers are the ones that make the real money. They come back from that horde. If I could do just something like that, I think, well, maybe I'd get more than 5 coins, as she kind of pockets it, a little furious, trying not to be ungrateful, but it's 5 coins. What is it going to get her at this point?
I mean, listen, you're right about those adventurers, but I don't know. There ain't nothing wrong with an honest, hard day's work.
It is if you don't get paid enough for it.
Listen, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, but I'm just saying the folks like that John Johnson, well, they're going to get what's coming to them sooner or later.
Yeah, well, it's not today, and it's probably not tomorrow, I'll tell you that. But here I am, not dealing with any dryness, just mud as she just kind of stomps her feet and leaves like this caked piece of dirt up in the office of Auntie.
And with that, we are going to cut to a bit of an overhead shot. We see Cal trudging through more mud. The stables, like most of the, sort of moose infrastructure in Basin City, are on the bottommost level of this towering metropolis. And surprise, surprise, it's raining, as it does almost every day these days in Basin City. And it's something that you've gotten very used to, but there's a nagging sense at the back of your head that maybe it's raining a little more than it was when you were a kid. Not quite sure, but when we think of rain, we're thinking kind of wide cloud coverage and torrents, and everything you could see is kind of soaked and soggy. But that's really not the experience here in the mud. In Basin City, rain is a series of waterfalls pouring off of roofs and gutters, overflowing rain barrels and mixing with the sludge of the millions of people that live above you. Easier to dodge, maybe, but far fouler to trudge your way through. This is Cal's daily existence. One of the few bright spots being these little Friday nights that you get with your parents, Devrim and Mina, who also work with the moose. They work a slightly more dangerous job in a slightly more industrial part of the city. But they also work with the moose, and it's kind of the culture that you came up within, and you get to see them about once a week, because that's when they get to come home. You all take a Friday evening to pool the money that you've earned, shore up the bills, and see if there's anything left over for... There's not generally anything left over.
Humble is probably a nice word for it, right? Like, at this point, it's stacked upon stacked, and it's at the very bottom piece. A very narrow, long kind of situation. Long for, one person, but it houses three in this case. But quite narrow, enough that you can hear the sounds and the movement of all of your neighbors from the right to the left. If you take 5 steps over, you're finding one wall. 5 steps the other, you found the other. It is cozy, but bare walls, right? No decoration. It's not a place that they stay. It's where they sleep, right? That's about it. It's a pure functional space, but it's not a home, if you will. And so it's adorned with just prints along the wall of mud. And that's probably the most coziest thing about it, is that as this moisture keeps building up and the town keeps kind of, especially at this mud level, decaying, you just see the handprints of Cal and her parents painted along the walls. The only thing that makes it feel like home every single time. Something that on the drier days she can trace the fingertips over, and just a memory, especially when she doesn't get to see them as often.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna straight up. Please take a luck point. That's
cute.
so good.
Cute.
Yes!
That was rough. Oh,
That was rough, and it's about to get rougher, because as you walk up to your front door,
Yeah.
you see your parents standing defiant, but clearly anxious in the threshold. And there is a small posse standing at your door. You see that there are kind of 2 larger, taller figures that you glimpse at. They seem, sort of relatively humanoid. The one in front of them is less so. You actually don't see a head. You see 2 legs that are kind of, vaguely humanoid, sort of denim clad, wearing tall boots, sort of mud trudging boots. But everything kind of above the waist is just a cone of feathers. And you see that kind of at the end of each of these feathers, almost I would say peacock-like, but that sort of connotes a sense of color, and there is no color here. The feathers are black, and then the eyes that dot their tips are a deeper, darker black. And you see them kind of look at you. The eyes focus in your direction. And you hear this guy say, "Well, looks like your daughter's home. Come on over here, doll. We're having a conversation about some finances."
Cal immediately tenses up. Her spine almost just straightens like a rod, and every muscle in her body tense and almost pulls itself in defensively as she shuffles behind her parents.
And again, no discernible face. The voice seems to just be emanating from these feathers. You can hear them slightly rustling when he's speaking. "Now, as I was saying, y'all are a bit behind on your renter's insurance. Now, we at Old Scratch Insurance Partners pride ourselves on being a generous and forgiving enterprise. But 3 months is about as long as we are willing to extend credit. And you're about to enter a period of, shall we say, lapsed coverage." Your dad, Devrim, kind of puts his hand on your shoulder, and he says, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. We're going to figure this out."
Oh, how are we behind that much? We've been giving you everything that we have. It's not like we've been splurging on fish or anything extra.
The second you speak, this guy drops to one knee, faster than should be possible. And he is focused entirely on you. And you feel the weight of 1,000 eyes bearing down on you. Now, I wouldn't expect a youngin' like you to be paying attention to all the paperwork that arrives here at your lovely family home, but unfortunately, about 3 months ago, there was a bit of a rate hike, actuarial stuff I wouldn't expect you to understand. The payments y'all been sending in have been insufficient, and of course, per your renter's agreement, there's the matter of interest on any unpaid premiums. Now, I do not set our fiscal policy. I am simply a humble collections agent. And I am here to collect, or unfortunately to revoke your coverage. Now, I would highly recommend the former, because if your coverage is revoked, well, we wouldn't want you to be without renter's insurance in the event of a fire, now would we? And one of the guys kind of standing over his shoulder, kind of a little bowler hat, a vest, takes his empty hand and snaps, and a little lighter flame appears over his thumb. And with that, we are going to cut to about a block away. Craig, would you please introduce us to Odion?
Odion is a taller gentleman with hazelnut skin. His hair is kind of cloudy on the top of his head. He wears sleek and well-kept armor. He is tall, however, he walks around slouching for the most part of his existence. He walks around with a pike as he follows a party of adventurers as sort of like we'll call it intern for the most part.
Well, former intern, because today was your last day with that party. You have been offered a pretty substantial promotion. And the leader of your former party was very insistent that you take that opportunity, that you fulfill your potential, that you come into your own. And so, you're not joining them on their sort of triumphant procession after their most recent launch into the dragon's lair. Instead, you are kind of taking the long way home through the mud, en route to your ultimate destination, Osprey Manor. And as you are kind of trudging up, it's a very quiet street. It is Friday evening. This is very residential. The people who are home are trying to keep to themselves. It's very quiet out on the street. The people who are not yet home are probably in other parts of the town carousing or doing whatever it is they want to do. And so it's a little odd that you can see what sort of seems like a tense conversation happening in front of one of these row houses, about a block away. And if you would please give me a history check with advantage, I will tell you what you know about these guys.
8 and a 4, so that'll be 10 total.
You have a nagging sensation that you should know who this guy is specifically. But even on a 10, you know what they are. These guys are angels. Capital A angels. These guys are one of many hired mercenary enforcement groups that are found throughout Basin City and beyond. They work for a variety of people, often more business owners and the church, less adventurers, but for example, that they also effectively manage your father's bodyguard. They're an organization that you are very familiar with. You also have a vague understanding that wherever they show up, violence is likely.
Excuse me. And as you're hearing me say it, that's how loud he's saying it, probably into the distance.
Are you still like a block away?
Yeah.
All right, incredible. He does not hear you. But as you move, as you shift, you see some of the eyes on the feathers turn toward you, and he freezes and kind of cocks the feather cone of his body in your direction.
I'll be right there. And he kind of walks.
Cal, you see that little flame is quickly extinguished. They are immediately de-escalating the situation. And who might you be, friend?
Oh, and he kind of puts his hand out. Odion Osprey.
Uh-huh.
This seems to be a very quiet neighborhood. I just wanted to make sure nothing was bothering you guys. Everything good?
Well, Mr. Osprey, I assure you that everything is fine.
Cal is behind and shaking her head vehemently. No, not saying anything.
Correct.
You see that the third angel, a little shorter than his compatriot, kind of a straw boater hat, thuggish-looking guy, reaches out and is trying to take your coin purse off of you.
Hey, wait, I earned that. Yeah, she actually tries to grab onto her bag with both hands and just pull it closer into her, taking a step back, but not technically being aggressive towards him.
Okay, I do need an opposed athletics check. You are trying to beat a 25.
What? I got a dirty 20. Never mind. Well, let me...
Oofa!
Oh, Cal thinks she's doing well. Like, she's very assured of, like, her own strength. And especially fighting moose and trying to push and pull them, she felt confident in this and is kind of taken aback by the physicality of this individual, surprised. And it shows on her face and is a bit of a just lack of composure in this moment for her.
As you roll that incredible dirty 20, you see this guy struggles a little bit to pull at the bag, and feathers burst from the skin of his arm. And he gets it away, dumps the gold into another purse, and tosses you the empty bag.
Is this a financial dispute of some sort?
Well, they were behind on some renter's insurance payments, but I can assure you we're squared away now, Mr. Osprey.
Which house do you work with?
Oh, we all represent the interests of Old Scratch Insurance Partners. I'd be happy to give you a business card. You can get in touch with my supervisor if there's a problem.
Absolutely. I just want to make sure that you're treating these citizens the correct way. I believe there's easier and simpler ways to deal with, late fees.
Mr. Osprey, we all have our approaches as to how we do our jobs, and I would love to get your feedback on how we've done here today. And he reaches into his feathers and pulls out a card and hands it to you. And you see that it is stamped with his name. This is Mick the Messenger. Thank you very much, patron Derek Silverstone, for the name Mick the Messenger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Mick the Messenger, and on the back, you see an address for Old Scratch Insurance Partners, which is a firm that you've heard of. Reputable. I apologize if there's been any disturbance to this lovely family of Ironwater. If you likewise have any concerns or would like to set up a more lenient payment plan, I recommend you likewise get in touch with my supervisor. And he hands you a business card, and they start to walk away.
Are these business hours available at any time when they're not working?
Absolutely not.
Cal just looks at this card and it's disbelief. Like it's easy. She reads this over and over, trying to find is there some sort of answer? Is there a secret? What is she supposed to do with this?
Your dad sort of spins you around and is holding you really closely and says, Cal, I love you so much. That was so reckless.
They took everything. What was I supposed to do? Say thank you as she looks at Odion.
As you say that, your mother turns to Odion and says, yes, thank you.
For what? And you see Cal's in the background looking angry.
They would have burnt this place down or worse. It's just money. We can get it back.
Yeah, all right. Here, then thank you. And she's going to actually toss the empty coin bag to Odion. Thanks.
Dang.
Odion probably doesn't know what this is.
I've never seen a wallet before in my life.
He is shaking out of fear of what he just did right there, and it's kind of just anxiety is at top tier. He kind of did not hear what your mother said, and he looks up. Did you say you needed money?
Listen, we're not asking for any of yours. We work hard enough. Don't worry about that. Unless you got a job or something.
I do.
Cal wasn't quite taking him seriously when she said that.
Odion, you have the job flyer.
Right. Yeah, he would pull it out, kind of hand it over to Cal.
And she'll snatch it from you.
Do you read it? Or
Yes.
do you just sort of pocket it?
She'll go ahead and read it, opening it up in front of you. What is this?
It says, Adventurers Wanted. For hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long weeks of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. Bonathan Ramshackle, Hotel Yeehaw, 504, 4th line.
So you're not even the one hiring, as she kind of shoves it back into your hand.
Well, no. As an adventurer, I need to build a party, and then we go and gain honor, reputation, money.
That's the thing you mentioned last, and she just crosses her arms and kind of pops the hip a little bit. So you're a party leader. She eyes you up and down.
In the making, as an Osprey, it is my job to be an adventurer that protects and serves the citizens of Basin City.
That name. And she'll look back at her parents for a second when you say your last name again.
They look so scared. Cal, hon,
What?
this gentleman was clearly on his way to work, to home. It is late of a Friday, and I am sure that he has more important things to do. Why don't we not let him get on with his evening?
Right. She kind of takes the cue. Well, I'll think about the job, as she just kind of answers, trying to find some pride back. Obviously, he looks fantastic, and, if I think it's worth my time, I'll show up.
Great. And he's excited.
Got one.
And I think with that, we are going to cut. Cinder, could I please have you roll me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh, that's an interesting way to start. Yes, you may. +1, so that's a 5.
So I don't think I have to tell you that is not a success. And you're not entirely sure what that means.
I thought I was done with this saving throws that I don't know what they mean thing.
Nope, we're back. We are so back. But you wake up in a relatively comfortable bed in a somewhat unfamiliar hotel room. Would you please introduce us to Weevil?
Weevil Woebringer is a kind of mundane-looking younger guy. He's probably around 20 years old, thin and kind of small. He's got kind of haggard, crazy, unkempt hair. And as he gets up, he starts to very quickly don his armor, which is a outfit made from scraps of beasts and monsters, different skins and furs. It is not fancy. It is not particularly nice looking, but it is form-fitting and it does the job that he needs to get done. And then he looks for his second shadow. Do I see it?
Not at the moment. No. And I think as you start, where is it? You kind of move to get out of this bed. The minute your feet hit the wooden planks of this floor, the wood splinters and impales your feet from all directions, effectively binding you to the ground. And you feel the metal of this bed, the brass of this bed begin to boil under your skin. Could I please get a Constitution saving throw, an insight check, and a perception check in that order?
Sure.
Jesus!
The con save is 13.
Ooh.
Okay.
I rolled a natural 20 on my perception, but with a -1 because I have a -1 to perception. So that is a 19.
A 19 is still very good.
And then for insight, I got a 8.
You begin bleeding from your eyes.
Oh boy.
That's not normal.
As much as it's not normal, it's not also terribly alarming either. I immediately start trying to sort of solve the puzzle. I'm looking for something that's not there. I'm looking for what is making this happen. What is going on?
The first thing that you notice is that all of a sudden, you are in a different room. And there's a thing sitting in front of you. And that's the word that your brain goes to, because if it tried to find a more accurate descriptor, you would pass out. It would be too terrifying and you would pass out. The thing that is in front of you is between 10 and 40 feet tall. And you can't precisely determine how tall it is because its back is crunched into this hooked, humped crouch. It has no skin. You can see all of its teeth to the roots, as it has no lips or gums. It does have eyes, but you really don't want to look at those. That's not a good situation. And every muscle is pulsing in this tense ripple that starts at its heart and it has a scepter resting on one shoulder, a really long, thin stick with something at the end resting on one shoulder. And the muscles of its head grow into the base of what looks like it should be 2 horns, but one of them is broken. And these 2 horns frame what, as your eyes start to focus, you see are hundreds of horns that grow together to form almost a bit of a crown. And this thing tips that scepter forward, and you see at the end is a very small wine glass. And it just very gently lets that come to rest under your eye. And as it fills with blood, it sort of tips it back and takes a sip.
Without making eye contact at the thing, do I know you?
I know you. For I have foreseen every death.
Hey, have you happened to see my second shadow? It's like and I twist my hand expecting there to be a little ploof of something erupt in my palm, and it doesn't.
The light casts but one shadow upon us all. You are not special. The dragon yet lives.
When this thing says the dragon, as much as Weevil wasn't immediately like terrified by the aesthetic of this space and was sort of like still trying to solve the problem, his focus kind of shifts. And for the first time, he looks a little bit more directly at this creature. There's a dragon.
Out of the corner of your eye, and on that incredible nat 20 perception check, you see that there is another figure sitting on a three-legged, almost a milking stool. And again, you're not looking straight at it, so you don't get like a crisp visual. But you see that he's got a really big hat and seems to be writing something.
Do you know that guy? And I turn to the
Do you turn to face
right.
the figure with the hat?
Yeah.
You see that the hat actually comes all the way down to his shoulders, and it is emblazoned with one very large eye on the front. The eye makes eye contact with you, and you hear, "Oh shit!" And the eye closes, and the whole hat sucks this guy up into it, and it vanishes. And when you turn back to this monstrous creature, this thing, it is gone. And instead, you see your Granny May.
Granny, there's a dragon! I was right! There's a dragon!
Hold on.
There's a dragon!
Whatever happened to greetings and hellos?
Greetings and hellos. But that means there's really a dragon.
Oh, Weevil. Of course there's a dragon. Why else would you have left home?
Yeah, but it doesn't feel real until you get your first kind of apocalyptic visage from some demonic entity that comes to warn you about it, you know?
And you are, of course, speaking to one of the three hags that form the coven of your adoptive grannies. May is the smallest of the three. You see that as she's sitting in this chair, she's like quite a bit shorter than even the back of the chair. She is also the coven's dream hag.
How are you? How's the homestead?
Oh, we're fine. You know how it is. Myrtle and Mildred are always getting up to something. You know I don't ask too many questions. They're the smart ones. And they're really no fun, but we're getting along. Enjoying our quasi-retirement. Not like you. How's my big boy finding the big city?
It's good. A lot of people.
There are a lot of people in Basin City. And she gets this weird, vacant, sort of faraway look on her face. Speaking of which, have you looked up your old friend? Oh, what was her name? Gertrude! From when you were such a wee babe and you used to come with us to the bazaar. Have you looked her up yet?
No, not yet. I should. To be honest, it's been a little overwhelming. I've kind of just been like walking around, looking at people. It's tough. You read about it enough in books. It's different in real life. But I haven't been able to find her yet. No.
Okay, well, I think you should, because you were best friends. You were inseparable when you were 5, and I assume, because humans only live until they're about 80, that represents a huge proportion of your natural life, which probably means you were bonded by fate. And humans need friends.
Yes, Grandma.
Well, I hope that you are eating your newts, and you're getting lots of nutrients, huh? Woe and ill tidings, Weevil.
Woe and ill tidings.
And you wake up.
When I do, I immediately check to see if I have my second shadow.
You absolutely do. And would you please describe it to us?
As I open my eyes, before I even sit up, almost like a robot, I stick my arm in the air and I twist my wrist, and it is what it looks sort of like is that my shadow, a second one sort of peels out of it and manifests into like a little poof of cloud in my hand. And I like peek my eyes open to see if it's there. And I do a little finger gun at it, and then it transforms into the shape of a finger gun and does a finger gun back at me.
And as you do, you sort of come to terms with being awake. You're kind of replaying the dream in your mind, the finer details of which are already starting to fade. The nuances of that weird hat guy are sort of the first to slip away. And you notice that you're sort of swaying back and forth, and you realize that you are in a hammock. You're in, sort of just a cheap hotel, just a layer or two off the mud. And you have finally been awoken by rays of sunlight coming in through the cracks in the walls. This room does not have a window, but, it's fine. You get enough light from the poor carpentry. And you realize that means that it's pretty late in the morning. And that you are the last one in this sort of big shared hotel room to awaken. And from beneath you, you hear the sound of a broom handle just thump, thump, thump.
Well, I guess the day's not gonna save itself. And I try to like really coolly like jump out of the hammock, but I kind of like trip and sort of half tumble out and have to like kind of hang and like get my feet on the ground.
And you make your way downstairs and you see that kind of this hotel generously is absolutely fucking filthy. Right? Like 2 inches of dust on everything. You actively have to, scurry along a couple cockroaches so you don't step on them in your descent down the stairs. And you see that there is a half-orc woman behind the counter who's, she's probably the proprietor. And she eyes you over. You're finally awake. You sleep well, princess?
Good morning.
Yeah.
It was a lovely place you have here.
Well, we like to take pride in our establishment. You wouldn't have happened to have come into a little bit of coin for to pay your bill.
Let me just sort of reach into my haversack. I am cringing at what my character is going to do. He pulls out all 5 gold and looks at it. How much is it for a night?
5 gold.
Well, this is all I have for today, but I'll see what I can do to get back to you, and I'll sort of knock the gold on the table and slide it over to her.
With the dexterity of a blackjack dealer, just calmly swipes it away. Pleasure doing business with you, kid. You can come up with a little bit more scratch. We got a bunk for you as long as you need.
They said people in the city were a little bit rough around the edges, but everyone's been so nice so far. Anyway, thanks, yeah.
And as you step outside, you're still pretty far down in this city, close to the mud. So the sunlight that is getting to you is generally pretty interrupted by everything that's happening above. But the cliffs are far enough back that sort of early in the morning, you catch a little bit of the dawn sun. And you sort of breathe in this thick, humid air and are filled with the indomitable sense that anything is possible. And as you're sort of reveling in that endless possibility, you bump into someone who, hey, watch it, friend.
Sorry about that.
And you turn around and you see it's a woman who's in kind of these overalls, little painter's hat on, and she's just taken a step back from the side of this hotel. And you see that she's been painting kind of a mural, kind of a barn-side mural on the side of this hotel. And the mural primarily depicts 3 people, and you recognize 2 of them. You recognize a young Zachariah Osprey, who's sort of far left. You don't recognize who's in the middle, but on the far right, the youngest person you do recognize as the John Johnson, far and away the most famous adventurer working in Basin City today. And over these 3 men, there's been a little slogan painted in imposing font. Sort of big block letters. Start your Basin City adventure with us.
And I sort of look up to like, almost as if I'm like talking to my grandmas and being like, sometimes the path finds you. And I'm going to start sort of jolly marching in that direction.
We are going to move up and up and up and up, beyond the roofs and the rafters and the runoff, beyond the sludge and the muck and the mud, beyond the dreary laborers beginning their day, the rotting wood and the hungry bellies, into a canopy, artificially grown in pots the size of rain barrels. A man-made orchard, fruit trees, oak trees, and anything that might have struck the fancy of a young Zachariah Osprey. Zachariah Osprey is one of the most powerful living adventurers in Basin City, and he made an incredible name for himself over a lifetime in the Dragon's Lair. But he's retired now, and he has retired to his mansion, which is roughly 6 sort of redwood and glass palaces jammed together and nestled within this man-made grove. And we fly into the window of our next character. Emily, would you please introduce us to Flo?
Flo is a young woman who looks like she's been carved out of marble. Beautiful, unblemished white skin with brilliantly white, perfectly straight hair. And she is all rumpled up in these silken sheets. And you just see this pale arm stretching out from this. She sits up, perfectly manicured already somehow after a very late night, the night before. Black silk pajamas, golden sunlight softly beaming down, dust motes, all very beautiful. Bimbly, where is my double shot skinny soy squash spice latte? And she looks around, expecting, because he's always there, Bimbly to be present with her latte.
And you bellow, and you see this little halfling man, probably somewhere on the order of about 65 years old, immaculate waistcoat, gorgeous coattails, sort of full livery in the colors of Osprey Manor. And he sort of stumbles, sort of knocks into this room. He's carrying a tray. He's doing that Spider-Man thing where the tray is just perfectly balanced, but he's kind of all over the place. Oh, my. Oh, Miss Flo, I am so sorry I'm late. Oh, goodness me. Your latte. And, how are you feeling this morning? You got in very late.
I'm fine. You know very well that those late nights just don't bother me. I mean, I don't even have... Wait, pass me my mirror!
Before you can finish the sentence, the mirror is in your hand.
And she'll look in this very elegantly ornate golden sort of face mirror. Not even a bag, even a shadow of a bag under my eyes. Perfect. And you can see her eyes are this brilliant gold just glittering back at her in this mirror. I really am blessed.
Oh, I almost forgot. Your father would like a word. At your earliest convenience, of course.
I bet he does. Now, would you mind running me I think a chamomile bubble bath?
And he spins around and runs out of the room.
She's going to just lean back on pillows that Bimbly probably propped up and fluffed for her without her even knowing. This isn't soy.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna need a divorce.
Wow.
I love Flo so much.
I
Flo makes me react in ways I was not prepared for today.
She will swing her legs out of the bed, that swish, silk on silk sound. Pitter-patter on her naked feet towards the bathroom, fully expecting it to be ready, even though she only gave them 30 seconds.
On your way down the hall, just past the bathroom, you see someone. You see your half-brother, Odion Osprey-Heronshaw.
Oh, Dion. And what brings you to the mansion?
Oh, well, I've been here since 8. Father wanted me to come by for a family meeting.
Oh, so you're here again for some more approval. Okay. Well, you just let me know when you're done. I'm gonna go take a bath.
Odion, do me a favor and make your choice of an investigation or a perception check. Just, sort of ambiently as you're standing in this room.
Dirty 20.
The first thing you notice is that there is a little pile of correspondence that it looks like, sort of Bimbley has set aside to take to your father's office. And the top one, you just kind of glance at the return address, and it is Bonathan Ramshackle, the face of your party for your upcoming job. But the other thing that you notice is that you sort of glance out this window, and you see something odd. You see what looks like a heron. And at first it seems like it might be an ordinary bird in one of these potted trees. And then you focus a little closer, and you see that it's actually perched at a considerable distance, which makes the fact that it is still looming large in your vision a little disconcerting. And it cocks its head and seems to make eye contact with you.
At first, there's a feeling of awe in just seeing this bird, and then immediate panic, and he looks away.
You hear through the window the distant, reverberant rustle of feathers. And you glance back up and a little away, making sure to not make eye contact, but as it happens, you can't. Because this heron, which you now recognize as the heron, is flying away. And it soars past the cliffs.
Good evening, Basin City. I'm your news correspondent, Ferrin Whel IV. Tonight's top story, the John Johnson has returned from his latest and wildly successful expedition to the Lair, bearing loot the likes of which most of us could merely dream, harpies' wings, surely destined to adorn the flagship pieces of the Mr. Johnson's newest and most fashionable apparel. His band of merry men returned unharmed for a 6th time, continuing the unbroken streak of luck for the city's most popular adventuring group. On re-entering the city, the Mr. Johnson paused to distribute the party's remaining rations to the needy youth of Ironwater. The neighborhood, and indeed all of Basin City, certainly owe our brave Mr. Johnson a debt of gratitude. And now a word from our sponsors.
Hi, friends. It's Patrick, your GM, your actual literal best friend, your Huckleberry, and I'm here for your gold. Stick 'em up. No, but actually, you know that we are not in the business of shoving irrelevant ads down your throat. And so this show is really made possible by your direct support. When you back us on our website, unbalancederencounters.com, 100% of your membership goes to keeping the lights on in our studio. Should you decide to grace us with your filthy capital, you shall be indicted into an elite legion, and the benefits of membership are many and varied. You get our original soundtrack from all of our shows, including our 80-episode epic Rally. You get to name NPCs. You get access to new episodes 2 weeks early, discounts on merch in our merch shop, and even an early access copy of Waste and Wild, the Tales of the Valiant setting book designed by me, Cinder, and Rift Kid Games, containing rules for Flo's class, the Godslinger, racing minecarts, and so much more. So mosey on over to unbalancederencounters.com and give us your gold or fingernails or whatever currency is deemed appropriate in your cosmology. we cut to slightly later in that same morning as Flo and Odion are standing at the massive oaken doors of your father's study.
Flo is gonna just push both doors open and sashay inside this room, and out of her silken pajamas now, she is now in her sort of everyday wear. It's sort of black shirt with just a corset around the waist, and then sort of trousers and big boots. But everything is black except for the kind of corset, which is gold brocade. But if you look really, really closely, it's lots of little snakes in a William Morris kind of pattern. Daddy! Walk up to his desk.
Arianna? Good to see you.
You know I prefer Flo.
Where's your brother?
He has not looked up from his papers.
Odion!
Odion kind of is holding his pike, kind of sheepishly, slowly peeks in, and then steps in, kind of stands behind whatever chair is set up. Here.
Damn it, boy, make a noise when you enter the room. Goodness gracious.
Father, a quick question. And he'll hand him the card he got from last night from the Angels. When retrieving funds from civilians, is it right for Angels to be more on the aggressive side?
I suspect Buzz is best suited to answer this.
And from immediately behind you, you hear, yeah, I think it's pretty common. And the two of you sort of turn around.
Buzz, fuck.
And see your father's bodyguard. This woman stands 6.5 feet tall. She has 2 guns, sort of 2 revolvers in side holsters. Tight, neat vest, shaved head, dark skin, these sort of big, ornate gold earrings, all set against a velvet black backdrop of these 2 big angel's wings that protrude out of the back of her shirt. After all, violence is the most commonly understood language in the world.
It was just interesting last evening. I found an adventurer.
Good,
and
wonderful. Recruitment. Excellent skill.
It was wonderful, Father. She stood up to a group of angels, so clearly she must be a adventurer of high esteem.
Or extreme ignorance. One of the two. I suppose you'll find out which. You have your interview today.
Yes.
Wonderful. Don't be late. Arianna, you're out of the house.
What?
You are 21?
21, yes.
Precisely. You are 21 years old. You've never had a job, you've never had any education, and you have never bolstered your legend in any practical way. I've been happy to afford you the lifestyle of your choosing, based on largely your mother's promise that at some point you'll make good on the Osprey name. That has shown no sign of happening, and so I am forcing your hand.
Daddy, I make good on the Osprey name every night. You should just see how popular I am. It's wild.
He pulls out what we in the real world would assume is a Bible, covered in this sort of ornate gilding. And you see a familiar symbol, the symbol of the Church of St. Wild, which is emblazoned on the front. And he flips it open. The pages are sort of tissue paper thin, and the book is inches thick, right? Hundreds of pages. And he stops.
Osprey, Zachariah, Osprey-Heronshaw, Odion, Flo, nothing.
I mean, I don't need to be in a book to be legendary, and I assure you, I am legendary.
What you get up to in your own time is your own business. Your leisure activities are not of any interest to me, or, quite frankly, to the church.
They just haven't caught up with the times. they just haven't gotten around to publishing a book with my name in it yet. That's all it is. I mean, how old is that book? I mean, it must be years old.
You see that he holds the book up for you to observe, and you wait for about 10 seconds or so, and new legend is being actively inscribed into it as you speak. This thing is deeply magical.
Then there must be some mistake. Maybe, it's because I have my mum's name. Maybe they just got confused because I'm the second.
Quite potentially. Go sort it out. If you manage to get it sorted quickly, then you'll be back quickly.
It's our duty as adventurers to make sure our names are written in history. It supports Basin City. It supports our community.
But Daddy, I'm not an adventurer. I don't want to be an adventurer. Look at these hands.
Arianna, this is not a negotiation. This is an edict. You are out of this house effective immediately. Please see your mother
Daddy!
before you go.
Mom! She's gonna scream for her mom.
Just echoing down the hall.
And I think we see Arianna storm off.
Odion, are you still here?
Yes, Father.
Did you need something?
What was it like on your first quest?
He raises his head for the first time since the two of you walked in, makes eye contact with you, picks up the ledger from the Church of St. Wild, hands it to you, and says,
When we met, did I not instruct you to read the ledger starting with my entries? How do you still not know about the story of my first adventure?
Well, I just thought
It's in the book, lad!
Yes. John Johnson usually, it's different from
Good man, that John Johnson!
Yes, his experiences are different.
Visibility's the thing.
Okay, visibility. All right.
Oh, by the way, take care of your sister while you're out there, will you? Don't let her kill herself or whatever might look bad on the name.
Me.
Close the door on your way out.
Oh, yeah. Both of them? Or just the... I'm just gonna close...
You are, stammering over that. You see the buzz has actually walked you sort of slowly over to the door. And she says,
Oh boy, you are in over your head. But if you need a favor or something, I'll help. You find me. Knock 'em dead! Boom!
And she slams the door. And we fade to black. Cal, it is the next morning, and I think you spent a pretty, fortunately uneventful night with your parents, kind of, a little tense, a little upset at the evening before, but you make the most of the time you have because everybody has to go back to work first thing in the morning. But as you go to leave, you see a card kind of wedged in the frame of your door. And you take it, and you realize that it is the calling card of Odion Osprey-Heronshaw. And it gives an address, a hotel in a part of town to which you have never been. And I think that you're sort of fumbling with this card, remembering the offer of a job for the umpteenth time as you arrive at the stables. And as you do, you see something that you don't like to see. The padlock, which is a giant's padlock, massive thing on the front doors, has been picked and is hanging open. And the front door of the barn is slightly ajar.
And she just rolls her eyes and just trudges in faster, worried about what kind of mess she's gonna find this time, because this cannot happen on of all days, and any day at all that it happens. It just makes her day so much harder, and she just has a whole slew of curse words going across her mind.
You see the culprit at hand. A wiry and wasted vagrant who is half submerged in mud, cradling a ceramic moonshine jug as if it were a baby. And he's just...
Excuse me? Really? Right now? Today? And the headache that was just sitting between her eyes right up above is just getting bigger. Are you kidding me? You gotta get out of here. As she kind of stumbles up close to him, trying to pull him up by one of his shoulders.
You kind of get this guy to rise to his feet, and he does, almost a little easier than you had expected him to. He fully drops this ceramic jug that he was cradling so gently into the mud, and it splashes kind of all over your boots. Pats himself down, just, good. That's where that's supposed to be.
What are you even doing here, of all places? Did you see the giant lock on the front? And she's just kind of venting a little bit at this.
On the front, lock? Oh, yeah, lock on the front. Yeah, that was mighty inconvenient. I have to admit, I might make those a little smaller next time.
Her eye just twitches a little bit, seeing him fall asleep standing up. Would you quit it? And she just kind of punches him in the shoulder, just lightly, but...
Falls back against the stable, the sort of stable wall. I'm okay. I yet live. Which is good. I'm glad to live.
No. Seeing him still stutter, you've got to get out of here. If Auntie sees you here, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
No. You don't understand.
I don't. I don't even know why you thought you'd come here. You've had luck. We shouldn't be even having these drinks. Yeah, to think you'd get a good night's slumber here, but you're not. As she tries to pull
the reason why I'm here has been ordained by the fates.
The stars aren't even out right now, as she kind of looks towards daylight. I think you may have had a little too much to drink, so let's go ahead and get you outside. As she starts literally dragging him. It doesn't matter if his legs are working or not, just dragging him through the mud out to the front of this.
You start dragging him and you realize you can't. He just will not move. And you see that he sort of stands up a little straighter and he kind of makes eye contact with you. And everything about this man suggests that he is still sleeping off the night before. He is absolutely wasted. Everything except his eyes, which in this moment are crystal clear. I was hoping I would run in to you. Well, I'm here.
What do you mean me? You don't even know me. What are you talking about?
No, you are correct. I do not yet know you. My name's Rip Durkin.
I'm sorry. What?
Rip Durkin.
Rip Durkin.
That's the one. You one and only Rip Durkin.
Well, you are the only one, because I ain't ever heard of anyone with a name like that.
Well, you ain't met the Rip Durkin now, have you?
Well, it's a wonderful time meeting you. Let's get you outside. As she starts to turn and try to lead him out.
Hold your horse. Hold your moose. Mooses. Meese?
It's just moose. Just moose.
The plural's moose?
No, just moose.
All right. I have a gift for you. Cal of Ironwater.
What do you mean?
He is wearing sort of these high-waisted trousers, big suspenders over this sort of open undershirt, effectively. And he reaches into his back pocket and he pulls out a gold.
What's that for?
This is a very special piece of coin. This is a very special piece of coin, it is.
It's gold.
It is, in fact, bright as a penny you are. This gold is blessed by the fates.
What does that even mean? As the fates have never had anything to do with her. Trickling down to where the people of the mud are, none of that impacts them. You make me have to do something for it?
Absolutely not. All I have been instructed to do is to tell you to keep it safe.
Listen, I don't deal with riddles. You can just keep your coin. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to do with you.
The boy!
Listen, you
The
can't
boy
really
holds
stay
the
here,
key.
but the boy, what?
The card in your pocket is for a boy named Ostrich?
Odion?
Odion Ostrich, that's his name. Odion Ostrich is the key.
Hold on, have you been following me? How'd you know I had this card?
I've been done trying to tell you it's ordained by the fates.
Listen, the only thing you've been ordained by is probably that moonshine you took down and spilled on your shirt. Other than that,
No, I was spilled moonshine on my... Oh, so I did.
Fine, do you want me just to take this coin and give it to him?
No.
And he gets real serious here. He actually kind of grabs you and he pulls you close.
The fates were very specific. Do not give this coin to anyone. It is yours for safekeeping, and it'll guide you out of this here mud. You keep it and you follow the boy, and he'll lead you out of the mud.
That boy? And she'll pull out the card again. Are you sure we're talking about the same one? He's supposed to be the leader.
He takes the card and he sort of pulls it way too close to his eyes, trying to focus on it, and then he pulls it back.
Osprey-Heronshaw.
Yeah.
That's not how you spell ostrich. No, I think this is the boy. The fates. The fates are never wrong. They have predicted every death, and yours is not in the mud. If you take the gold and follow the boy.
What can it hurt, right? Give it here. And she'll hold out her hand.
He places it in your hand and you kind of glance at it. And then you look back up at him and all of a sudden he has two things that are very dear to you, already ready to present you. In both of his hands, holding it up as if it weighs nothing, is the giant's sledgehammer that you use all over the stables. It's not exactly in the best condition, but it is yours. And you've had it for a very long time.
Yeah.
And on his shoulder is your little woodpecker griffin, Nicholas. Would you please describe Nicholas for us?
Nicholas is this tiny, adorable bird-mammal mixture. Think woodpecker meets puppy with the tiniest, fluffiest butt, because that's the most important part everyone needs to know. How'd you get him to sit on your shoulder like that? He doesn't do that for most.
Nicholas is a good lad. He's a good boy, and he's one of the monsters. They're good people, the monsters. I'd trust them with my own sons if I had any.
Right.
And he raises a finger so that Nicholas clambers on, and he lets him down gently on your shoulder.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess I'll just take this and go find your ostrich.
Ostrich, very important. Can't find the way without the ostrich.
And he sort of starts to stumble away, and then he stops and he turns around. He comes back, and he puts a drunken hand on your shoulder, and he leans in. Keep that gold secret. And with that, we are going to cut. Flo, in your fit of pique, you find your mother. And she is sitting poolside. In another wing of the manor, there is an indoor heated pool that is under a dome of glass. And that dome is absolutely bursting with all manner of tropical botanicals. And your mother, who, gun to your head, looks like she's maybe 28. I mean, she has to be older than that, but she doesn't look it. Is wearing that, classic one-piece Hollywood bathing suit. And it is almost a pastel off-white. Because if it was actually white, you would not be able to distinguish it from her skin.
She would just look naked.
And she has on these massive sunglasses.
Yeah.
Right? Just these big
queen.
gold-rimmed pitch black sunglasses. And a big floppy hat, and she is repose upon a divan.
My boots echo through the around the having to go. She's all the way around the other side, so And I'm walking all the way around this massive fucking
It's a
pool.
goddamn Wes Anderson shot. We sit through
see
the
it.
whole thing, and it is perfectly symmetrical, and we hear every boot clack as you make your way around. Incredible.
And then I finally get up to like the foot of this like beach lounger that she's on. Mother, are those my sunglasses? Anyway, will you please speak to Daddy? He's kicking me out of the house, apparently.
Oh, that was today, wasn't it?
What? You knew?
Guilty as charged.
Oh, my God.
She sits up, she takes off these sunglasses, and you see that she has the same gold irises that you do. All right, darling. Spill. Tell me everything. How is this making you feel?
Mother, how many mimosas have you had this morning? Because apparently you already knew that he was going to be kicking me out the house, and now you're asking me how that's making me feel? You really need to stop fucking your therapist.
You always did have quite a way with words, didn't you?
I get it from you.
Oh, well, you're not wrong. It is important for us to talk about how we feel. And I'm not just saying that because Richard has made it a point of our more recent sessions.
I'll tell you how I feel. I feel pretty fucking pissed off. I feel pretty fucking betrayed. And right now, I'm getting really fucking annoyed that you're not telling me what's happening and why you're not going to Daddy and telling him he's made a huge mistake so I can stay.
The situation is complicated, darling. You have to understand where your father is coming from. There's a certain amount of responsibility that we have as ospreys. Our privilege comes with work that we must do to merit, to warrant it.
Flo's just rolling her eyes. If they could roll any harder, they'd roll out of her skull. So, what do I have to do? Do I have to just go to the church and tell them to put my name in the book? And how much do I have to pay them?
Oh, darling, no, that's unfortunately not how it works. I believe me, I did look into it on your behalf. And unfortunately, your more, well, bodacious escapades are not quite what they're looking for.
So I go, I slay a monster, I guess, and then I come back and it should be fine.
Oh, that actually reminds me, darling, I have something for you. And she stands up and you see that she's sort of draped in this silk shawl over top of her one-piece bathing suit. And she kind of pushes it back, and you're not really sure how you missed this when you came in, but she has a gun holster all the way up her thigh.
Again, queen.
Hot.
She takes the gun out, and it is this little Derringer. Tiny little snub-nosed gun. White ivory handle. And if you catch it in the right light, just the hint of gilded snakes twisting up the barrel and around the handle. It would be so dangerous for you to go in alone and unarmed, and this is a bit of a family heirloom. I've had it for a while, and I suspect it might be more use to you than it is to me.
She's going to take it with like a thumb and forefinger and hold it up between the two of them. What the fuck do you expect me to do with this? Am I going to take down a Minotaur? You think you think your daughter is going to come back alive?
All right, Miss Ungrateful, give it back.
No, it's fine. I'll take it.
I thought so.
Do you not have anything bigger or, a bodyguard or something?
That's what Odion is for. Bimbley! And she snaps, and Bimbley opens the door and pushes in all of your bags and Odion, who's just kind of in that pile.
You want me to set this down here, Bimbley?
Yes, Master Odion, that would be lovely. Odion, it's so good to see you. You're looking wonderful. Your adventures have been treating you well.
Training under John Johnson has its perks.
She is clacked just all the way around this pool, and she sort of pulls you into that, that European kind of double cheek kiss.
Yeah.
Odion, you know what it feels like to be charmed in this way by her. And you're kind of letting it happen, but in a way that kind of diffuses it. You're like, oh, I know what this feels like, so I'm just going to let it kind of wash over me. And so it doesn't really actively take hold. But you also get the sense that she's not really doing it intentionally. This is sort of more of an aura situation. You're going to take wonderful care of your little sister, aren't you?
Half. I will do my job as an osprey.
And that's what I love to hear. Such a good boy you are.
Ugh.
Flo?
Yes, Mother.
You mind yourself, and you be very careful. You never know who might be watching.
Yes. And give me the holster. And she's gonna, click it around.
There's a 3-minute cut of her taking this fucking holster off. And we are gonna go ahead and jump to Weevil. Weevil, as you've sort of been making your way through the morning, just being open to the day, right? What's coming your way? Who knows? Anything is possible here in Basin City. The air is feeling wet. That's always something, people have, they definitely don't have a smile on their face, but they got a spring in their step. Everybody seems busy and bustling, and, it's only a matter of time until something goes your way. And I think you're kind of just fucking around the mid-levels, right? Really just, kind of looking for where that next gold is going to come from so that you can make sure that you pay your hotel bill. And you see a crowd of people that has begun to form kind of around one of the larger cable car stations. And a cable car is kind of coming up from the mud.
My shadow is going to sort of peel off from itself and reach up and hand me a pair of binoculars, sort of made of shadow, and I'm going to look through them to get a closer look at what's going on. This is my subclass feature.
Yeah.
Called Moatcraft, where I can essentially manifest objects that would allow help with types of skill checks, and circumstantially I can use my spellcasting instead of that specific skill, if it makes sense.
Go ahead and give me that proficient spellcasting ability check, and go ahead and give it to me at advantage.
Still not great. That's a 6 and an 8. But with an 8, that's a 13.
You have a hard time focusing in on what's coming. It seems like there's something to do with this cable car that is coming up toward the station, approaching this crowd. And while you can't quite make out what's going on through the windows of this cable car, you wildly hear something first. You hear music surrounding this cable car. And it gets louder and louder the closer that this thing gets to you. And when it sort of draws into the station, and you're sort of looking up and over this crowd, you see the doors open. And a man whose picture you saw just this morning steps out into the crowd. And you are looking pretty closely at the John Johnson. Brilliant white smile that perfectly matches his Stetson. The only part of him that is not perfectly symmetrical is a little bolo tie that adorns his hat that's in a little jaunty angle. He has on a white leather vest that is perfectly oiled, and it's got those tassels that who knows what the hell those are for, but it's got them. And with every step he takes, his spurs click. Nobody wears spurs in Basin City. This is not a horseback town. You do not know why he is wearing spurs. But when they click always in time and somehow also key with this ambient music. And you see people are going fucking nuts. They are eating this up. And he is just tossing out sort of handfuls of silver. So the crowd is kind of crushed in around this cable car. You see that he and the sort of 3 other party members that are in his team are having difficulty getting out of the cable car. An initiative made all the more difficult by the fact that they are pushing a trolley full of harpy wings. It would seem that they have gotten a trophy.
I let go of the shadow binoculars, and as soon as I do, they just kind of disappear, and I dart through the mist of them, and I try to avoid everybody that's getting silver and trying to go for silver, and I'm beelining it to John Johnson.
You sort of push through all of these people. There's like a kid, right? He's sort of right at the front of the crowd. He's trying to get the attention of the John Johnson, and you sort of step in front of him. And like,
but I look trying to make it look like I didn't. Also.
Right, yeah, 100%. Nobody noticed. Nobody saw. And he's just working this crowd like a rope line. He's just, good to see you, glad you could make it. Yes, thank you very much. We are very proud of this here hall.
I lunge forward and grab his hand. Weevil Woebringer, I am so excited to be an adventurer. I saw your sign. I am here to join. Nice to meet you.
Wonderful, my friend. It is so good to have you here in our fair Basin City. Make sure you're following along with all of our exploits.
Is that a harpy that you have there?
It is indeed, my friend. It is indeed. And he pulls out a little marker and he straight up just signs your forehead and says, well, it was a pleasure meeting you, my friend. Now you make sure you have yourself a fabulous day. And he turns to someone else.
I sort of rub my forehead confusedly. I wanted to talk to him. I think for like a beat, I like rub my forehead, look down, and then go, well, must be a busy guy. Onward and upward.
As you're doing this, you are sort of kicking through just some stuff that was sort of left by the crowd. In that way that crowds always kind of leave behind debris, right? See, there are a couple errant pieces of silver that get pretty quickly snatched up by passersby. There's some paper, and you see one of those pieces of paper kind of catch the wind and fly up close to your field of vision.
I grab it.
You see that it is a cutting from a newspaper.
Yeah, I open it up. My shadow sort of reaches over and puts a pair of glasses on for me.
Pince nose. Boop.
You see that it says, Adventurers wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, etc. Bonathan Ramshackle, Hotel Yeehaw, 504 4th line. And as you read the address, you realize that John Johnson and his party just got off of the 4th line, and it is about to leave.
Okay. Destiny awaits! Ah! And I sort of like stumble over like some trash and stuff that's left from the crowd and try to catch my feet and get on the train.
We are going to go ahead and jump to the Hotel Yeehaw. This is a mid-level hotel here in Basin City. Nothing super fancy. Reviews are mixed, you know? Not exactly the cleanest, not exactly the nicest staff, and not even really the cheapest. Sort of pure middle of the road. But they make a sarsaparilla here that will, make you regret things. And that's something that people have a tendency to like. And so it's a pretty popular bar, if not necessarily hotel. And Odion and Flo are probably the first to arrive. It's probably, kind of getting on early evening, and so people are here, The band is going. You see an old kind of honky-tonk piano, and the camera kind of pans up over the piano and toward a booth along the back wall, and we see a man that, Odion, you know by reputation. The man you are supposed to meet to take on your new job, it is Bonathan Ramshackle. And Ramshackle is an old hand at adventuring. He's heavy set, pushing mid-50s, right? Older guy, sort of big Sam Elliott mustache. That kind of classic cowboy look. And he has these little black sunglasses on. He doesn't seem to really be focused on anything. He's just sort of sitting there, waiting patiently, sipping on what seems to be a pot of tea.
Odion kind of heads over to table number 9. Ramshackle?
You must be young Osprey-Heronshaw.
Odion, yes. Nice to meet you.
Well, my name is Bonathan Ramshackle.
And he extends this big, wide adventurer's hand, calloused and rough.
Well, it's very good to make your acquaintance.
He takes both his hands, shakes his hand.
I'm quite glad that you could make it out here tonight. We've not had as much enthusiasm for this job as I might have hoped. Well, admittedly, I was a little blunt in the flyer. It seems like all the grit's gone out of this here place.
I hope I have the grit for your job.
Well, grit or no, you come highly recommended. You put together quite a legend for yourself in quite a short amount of time. Straight out of prep, 5 years with D. John Johnson and the progeny of Zachariah Osprey.
Thank you.
You all right, kid? Something making you nervous?
He sits down finally in a chair in front of him. It's a lot.
Okay, well, the world can get the better of us at the best of times. Are you feeling up to this work, son?
Yes. It's just it's my first quest. It's a quest.
Well, hardly your first quest there, brother. It's, well, maybe your first is the true muscle of the operation, but...
And he pulls out a small copy of that book, the Ledger from the Church of St. Wild. Sort of a paperback, picture almost kind of the Gideon Bible like you'd find in a hotel. And he thumbs it open to your ledger entry.
There's quite a lot in here. It says just this week you were partly responsible for taking down an entire nest of that there harpies.
I hope that was reassuring enough to know that the quest that you have given me and my co-workers is in good hands.
Co-workers?
There you are. I was wondering where you got to with my drink. Oh, and who's this?
This is Mr. Ramshackle.
Bonathan Ramshackle. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. But the two of you are related?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And so you're an Osprey.
Yes. I'm sorry, how many times do I have to say yes before you understand that I am, in fact, an osprey?
Just the once would suffice, miss. Now, Odion, are you insinuating that young Miss... Osprey?
Mm-hmm.
Young Miss Osprey. You're intending on having her fulfill one of the roles in the party?
A minor role. Very.
Ain't no minor roles in the lair, son. You only got but the 5, and we fulfill 2. You're the muscle, and I'm the face. We have need yet for the brains, the threat, and a healer.
Well, I'm clearly the brains, so...
Uh-huh.
I could possibly, I have another, possibility that should show up soon.
And at that moment, Weevil enters the room.
As I'm stepping in, I'm about to, make myself a big presence, and then I just see how many people there are, and I second guess it for a half second, and I look down at the paper again in my hand. Start looking around.
You also see, I think, something that you genuinely did not expect to see at all. Mm-hmm. You see the third guy from the mural. Black sunglasses, big mustache, sat at a booth in the back. And this was the guy that you couldn't identify.
Oh, I immediately approach with eagerness and stride.
You sort of slide your way through this tavern, and as you approach, Ramshackle turns and says,
"Hello there, Bonathan Ramshackle. Can I help you?"
Hi, yeah. I saw your face on the poster with Zachariah Osprey, and I'm here to be an adventurer, and I found this, and I'm on board. Sign me up.
All right, I'm with you for most of that stuff, but you gotta dial back just a little bit for me. You saw my face on a what now?
A giant painting on a wall with John Johnson, Zachariah Osprey, and it was like, go be an adventurer.
He takes out a little leather-bound notebook, and a pencil, kind of licks the tip of the pencil, And he sort of scratches something down. And Weevil, you're sort of angled just right to be able to see that it says unauthorized representation lawsuit? Question mark?
I suppose I will follow up on that another time. Mr. Woebringer, it is nice to make your acquaintance. It sounds like you are interested in the adventure in life. Please, take a seat. I will order us a round of drinks for the table, and we will become acquainted.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
It does sound like Daddy to have a giant picture of himself on a wall somewhere, so...
Mr. Woebringer, Odion Osprey-Heronshaw, and... Well, she's still not said her name.
Odion Osprey!
Yes.
Wow. Oh, golly, I did not expect to be immediately... See, I'm a big fan of your father's.
Oh. Thank you.
I think Flo is just like, my heart!
You're,
brother.
It's a real pleasure to meet you, sir.
thank you. You're very loud.
Sorry. I'm going to turn to Flo, who I haven't met yet. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Arianna Floridia Osprey II, but you can call me Flo.
Oh, super nice to meet you. I didn't know that Zachariah had a daughter. Shake her hand.
I
haven't read any stories about you yet.
Well, my stories aren't really in the adventuring circles. But maybe, after this, who knows?
Well, Mr. Woebringer, what role do you think that you would fill within our burgeoning organization?
To be honest, I suppose any role you'd want me to fill, I could make it work.
I like that attitude. That's a can-do attitude.
I have magic, and I do this, and little bursts of, shadow appear in both of my palms, and I'm pretty good at solving puzzles, and I know a little bit about monsters.
You said you're new to this life. You don't have a ledger entry yet.
No, I grew up in the woods of Woe.
The woods of Woe? Fascinating. I wasn't aware there was a human settlement out in the woods of Woe.
There's not. Just me.
Uh-huh. Well, that is certainly an idiosyncratic origin story, my friend. I appreciate that you seem to be relatively competent, and I am glad that you are so excited. Now, I just have one question. What is drawing you to the adventure in life, especially from so deep into the woods of Woe? What is your goal?
Well, I hope one day that there will be books written about me, that my face will be the one that's on posters that aren't being paid for. And if I'm gonna be honest, and I lean real close and real forward as if I'm gonna say some very sneaky secret, I want to slay a dragon.
Weevil and Flo, you both see that as Weevil was going on and on about wanting to be famous, Ramshackle was sort of slumping a little bit. He was not thrilled about that answer. There was sort of a little bit of a But the minute that you got conspiratorial and said what to his mind was the actual goal, not necessarily the secondary trappings of success, that you wanted to slay a dragon, his whole demeanor changes. And you see that it shifted on the word dragon. On the other hand, Odion, you are completely distracted watching the door in the hopes that Cal shows up. And as soon as Weevil says the word dragon, which you don't parse because you're not paying attention.
Plus, dragons don't exist.
Cal shows up.
Immediately stands up. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me.
Table shakes, drink spills.
Can I describe Cal's entrance a little?
Please.
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
It's actually first she'll poke her head in and then she'll close the door real quick and stand outside in the front, breathing heavy. It's that same kind of anxiety you get before you have to do a presentation. And she is nervous. Her hands are actually shaking. And she has with her an item in a sack. And she opens it up and it's actually chainmail. a gift that she had. It's not something that she ever really wears out. It's something so precious to her, a gift that she happened to get, one of those rare circumstances. And she feels half a second that she just wants to run back, go back to Auntie, go back to the stables. But she feels that coin in her hand again, and she just kind of talks herself through it. This is just one time. You go in, you see how it works, and if it's good enough, you stick with it. That's it. It's just going in, and you're just going into this place, and it'll be fine. And she keeps talking to herself as she puts on this chainmail and takes a deep breath and then kind of puts on a mask, if you will. Her eyebrows furrow and she toughens up as she grabs this, hammer that she has to throw over her shoulder. And it is a full body movement as she has to kind of swing it up to land up on her. And then she opens that door and just kind of looks around, trying to hide her fear. And it comes across perhaps a little bit more angry than anything when she sees Odion across. You! And she just unnecessarily kind of stomps, partly because her legs aren't working all of a sudden the way that she wants, and it's awkward, but it's a bit of the Frankenstein monster walk. It's just her legs are not working for her. In her brain, she thought this is going to be smooth. I'll look like a hero, an adventurer. It'll be fine. And how it turns out is just nothing works and my body doesn't listen to me. But she's trying to keep it together. All right, I'm here. What am I supposed to do?
All the shock and positive thoughts that were going through Odion's head, immediately when he sees you, he immediately just drops back into his negative thoughts as he feels as though he's screwed something up again. But then we're meeting now for the quest.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. And she also pulls out your card and gives it back to you, thinking that you'll probably need to reuse it. Here, that's why I'm here. You said you had a job. I'm here for the job.
Right. How are your skills in medicine?
Why? Nothing special. And she kind of shies away. It's not a question. She's wielding this giant hammer and you ask her about medicine and she just it's not part of the script and she glitches a little bit in her face. It's nothing really worth speaking about.
Okay, mine aren't either, but that should cover it. We should be good. Okay, just follow me.
Do you not have a table here? She talks she does not temper her volume at all in this space.
You make your way across this bar, a little carelessly knocking the hammer into everybody, and you sidle up to the booth. And Ramshackle sort of turns to you and...
Well now, Odion, it would seem that this might be our
final adventure. Yes.
Cal. And she'll hold out her hand, very kind of sharply, thrusting it forward.
Cal, is it? You got a surname there, Miss Cal?
A what?
Well, a family name, you know.
No, my name is Cal. She'll just kind of repeat it.
Okay. We'll figure out how to make that work on the paperwork, I guess. It is nice to meet you. I am Bonathan Ramshackle, the face of this here party and the...
That's a long name. Can I call you Bonnie?
If you must.
She'll take a seat. Well, Bonnie, I'm here for a job. And she'll take Odion's water and drink it.
And he sort of turns to you all and says,
Well, it seems that we are all indeed present. We have our quorum, so to speak. The first order of business to address is that, well, we find ourselves in a bit of a predicament. As competent as you all claim to be, we are yet short a healer.
Well, as long as we don't get hurt, it'll be fine.
That's not how this goes. I've been doing this for 30-some-odd years. I have ridden the rails across the shallow seas. I have summited all of the highest peaks this world has to offer. You will get hurt. Now, we don't need a lot of healing, but we do need someone who can set a bone or cast a spell.
You see Cal shift in her seat a little bit. So what you're telling me is a healer would be very valuable.
Oh, absolutely. Healers are hard to come by. Here in Basin City especially, they are some of the rarest adventurers and often worth their weight in gold.
So you'd pay them their weight in gold?
if we are successful.
Well, I might be able to try and do some healing, as she suddenly becomes a little bit more forthcoming, scooting forward in her chair and standing up. I could help out a little bit more there if there's coin for it. You know, little things here and there. Helps hold you over if we got a moose with a hurt ankle or something. I can help out with something like that.
Oh, Miss Cal, forgive my imposition, but
I'll forgive you.
I appreciate that. Have you, in your few years, spent time as an antlerjack?
My parents were. And I do a lot of work like that. It's good work, and it's honest work.
I agree.
That's why I got my hammer like this, too. And it's a weird defensiveness that she has.
You see, he sort of rises to it. You know, he sort of rises to what you're saying. And
ain't nobody in this here conversation got nothing bad to say about antlerjacks. I have come to greatly respect the work y'all do here in Basin City. Now, the reason why I ask is not accusatory. It just might explain your claim about your magics. My guess is you probably learned something from a giant or two.
Well, yeah. They come and help out a few things, and I pick up, so that way we're good to go, because you all aren't very nice to the moose. Come back with a lot of wear and tear.
I always do my best to take care of them. They're good steeds, but yep, it's a hard life out there. If you feel like you're willing to come back with a little wear and tear, we might be able to use you.
I could do that if it's worth my time. As she kind of... Is there any, coin on the table or anything? No. She'll just drink Odion's water again.
So, now's about the time that I explain to you all about the situation. As I'm sure you are all aware, the dragon's horde has been dwindling since long before any of y'all were born. Now, they say back 1,000 years ago, you could simply waltz into the lair and pull out fistfuls. Now it takes longer. You gotta delve deeper. I hear tell that the John Johnson, good as he is, has not come back with meaningful gold treasure in the last 2 years. Odion, is that true?
Gold is hard to come by. Most of the treasures are parts of monsters.
Which is good as gold to the church. Noble work to be sure, but not exactly adventure of legend. Which is where yours truly comes in. I seem to find myself in possession of a potential remedy. A map. To what I genuinely believe to be the final load of gold. Now, it will be treacherous work getting there, and it will be potentially months away from home. It will not be easy, and it will not be kind work. But if we make it down, take what is ours and make it up alive, they'll be writing stories about us for the rest of days. And the gold won't hurt none neither.
Would it be possible to get a small forward on that portion?
I'm in conversation with many of the city's top financiers, including the preeminent Old Scratch Capital Partners, to fund this here expedition. Now, I believe I could get us a reasonable forward in capital if that is something that is necessary to you all. I can negotiate that, but it will take a little bit of time. And there is plenty of work to be done in the meantime preparing for this expedition. That work will not be paid, simply plundered. Now, if you all are willing to do a little bit of upfront, I think we can come to an agreement.
Odion looks to everybody.
What choice do I have?
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm not here to wait. I'm ready to get started.
Now that is what I love to hear. You all will go in and do a bit of we'll call it a side quest. If you're successful, it'll build a little proof for our financiers, and it'll get us that advance.
Sounds like I found my first adventuring party.
You really are hopeful about this, aren't you?
It's a noble thing being an adventurer. It's exciting.
And I think we see you all sort of lose yourself in the conversation, new acquaintance, and Ramshackle sort of pulls Odion aside, slides him a bit of parchment.
About this side quest. Y'all are going to be headed into the lair to deal with an elemental. Gave my scouts a little trouble on their way down. Now, it should be an easy enough thing to kill, and this here map will take you right to it.
I think that is definitely a capable task for us. I mean, Weevil seems enthusiastic. My half-sister, I have never seen her to be afraid of anything.
I can't imagine.
And I saw Miss Cal stand up to a group of angels, so I think an elemental wouldn't be anything to fuss about.
Well, that's what I like to hear.
And he slaps you on the back.
Now, all you drinks are on me this evening.
And he puts 10 gold down on the table.
You all have yourselves a good time. Light out first thing in the morning. And fate's willing, I will see you all upon your safe return. Welcome to the team.
And I think we see all of you kind of hang out for a little bit, have a drink or two on Ramshackle's dime, and talk and decide what to do next. And I'm curious, where do you all choose to spend the night? We know that Odion has a hotel that presumably Flo is also staying in because that's where all of her bags are.
Yeah.
Weevil does not necessarily have a place to stay, and Cal is trying to get out of the stables.
It's a bit too far for me to go all the way back down there. I'll probably just find an alley up here and snuggle in for the night. Weevil, are you going somewhere?
Well, there was a hotel I was staying at, but I don't have any gold left, so, yeah, I was gonna maybe find, like, a basement or a bit of sewer that I could.
In the arms.
Yeah, can we play the saddest music right now? Go enjoy your 5-star hotel wherever you're staying at. We're gonna go sleep in the streets.
Okay, well, you have fun with your basements and your alleyways. I'm going to bed.
He thinks to himself, it's an adventurer's job to help others. I have a room.
Are you saying that as an adventuring party, we might all stay in the same place like they do in the stories? No, I'm fine with that idea.
Sleep over.
Odion, we have a double twin. That's not really going to work, is it?
Well, there's room on the floor. It's fine.
Well, I'm not gonna say no to that. Can't be worse than sharing a place with Kevin, so yeah, I'm in.
I think it is at exactly this point that Flo realizes that you have a woodpecker sort of hiding out in your hair.
Oh, yeah.
Just like as it comes out. And fully just like smash cut to the night where there's like Cal and Flo in like one bed and Weevil and Odion in the other. And then Flo's just there, the only one awake, just like...
I actually don't think that you are the only one awake. Because I think that Odion is also awake. We are going to do that smash cut. I love that. But I think that we see that Odion is still awake. Weevil and Cal, this is the nicest bed that you've slept in months, if not ever. So you're out so fast.
Odion he's been adventuring. He's not used to being in hotels. So he actually has like a little tent set up on the, I'm assuming like a balcony or whatever.
Oh shit. Yeah, absolutely. We see you sort of propped against this lean-to that you've assembled on this little balcony, kind of bedroll against the hard timber. And we flashback.
Oh my god.
He did it to me, y'all. The first fucking episode, he hit me with the flashback.
Odion, what was your first night at the academy like? And how did you likewise end up sleeping on the floor of a room that was a little overcrowded?
It was the same day when he first met his father and his half-sister and was told he was going to be the next head of the Osprey family, and then was shipped off to this academy with a bunch of soon-to-be adventurers all crammed together in a space that is unhealthily full with too much energy as well as goals and passions and it was too overwhelming for him to remember anything that truly happened that day, except he was exhausted. He was so exhausted he was not fast enough to gain one of the beds that was set up. And and Odion just remembers one of the trainers saying to him, "You have a job as an adventurer to make sure that those back in Basin City are taken care of. And that job starts today."
And this is what is playing in your head as you drift off to sleep and dream of the most innocent time that this lesson was drilled into you, because it got harder from there. And it is just starting to weigh on your chest how real those words are for the people who were sleeping just on the other side of this window. When you are startled awake by a sound from the room. Someone is in there, someone who shouldn't be. A chest has just been broken, and possibly the door. And I need all of you to roll me initiative.
It's time.
Next time on Unbalanced Encounters.
Here we are into the episode 2 of the Misfortunate 4, which we really live up to the name of it in this episode, where we're really hoping we wouldn't, but we absolutely did. First of all, bedroom surprise. Lots of things happen. Fire occurs. There's somehow a way in which we weather the storm. We almost become 2, but we don't, and we make it through, which is really important. And throughout the entire thing, it's all the wrong people rolling nat 20s at this time, and it is incredibly painful and not what we wanted at all, but somehow we make it through. Cleverness was shown. We saw some bravery, and somebody was sleeping in a box the entire time. You'll have to listen if you want to find out who. And yet we still managed to stay the 4.
Yay!
I think you still have like 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was only 30 seconds. And then on top of that, somebody goes to sleep and has some very interesting dreams, because they also have discovered that their gun does things that guns don't do, and also do things that their gun does supposed to do for gun things.
Gun things! Yeah! The Misfortunate 4 is an Unbalanced Encounters production. This episode's showrunner and GM was me, Patrick Perini. Cal of Ironwater was played by Caustic Phoenix. Arianna Floridia Osprey II was played by Emily Greymoore. Odion Osprey-Heronshaw was played by Craig Pate. Weevil Woebringer was played by Cinderblock Sally. And mid-roll announcer Ferrin Whel was voiced by Cleo Birch. This episode was produced by Sabrina Ortiz. Its lore keeper was Nick Plaisance. Scripted segments by Patrick Perini and Colin Epstein. Game design consultation by Mason Allen. And original music by Sayer Roberts. The voice of Coloursby was Renee Juneau. The voice of Valnise was Sarah Roberts. The voice of Johnnie Rowe was Adrian C. Lawrence. The voice of Jareth Woodfoot was Noir Enigma. And the voice of the Dream Devil was Aram Vartian. The following NPCs were named by some of our patrons. Coloursby by Dark Steel Panda. Valnise by Sidian. Johnnie Rowe by Josh Aradu. Jareth Woodfoot by James. And Ferrin Whel, our mid-roll announcer, by NZ Sterling. For the rest of the Misfortunate 4 and other delightful shows, visit unbalancedencounters.com or search for Unbalanced Encounters wherever pods are casted. Okay, we love you, bye.